right, we are recording. So this is the digestive system upgrade, and I have a full PowerPoint here, so you can go through the slides if you'd like and learn more about, okay, so it starts with the digestive questions and the things emotional wise that people could be looking for as far as, is this a symptom or a cause for my digestive issues? You know, what will it take for me to believe in myself? So that could be a problem, right, for people who are experiencing digestive problems. So that's always good. And then you test to see which of these apply to my client or apply to myself or whoever you're testing this for. You know, sometimes I do that. It's like, oh, okay, well, I get number 3 and 5 for this person. Oh, okay, so something about their needing to channel their energies or resources better or something like that. And then 5, you know, so you can do that. That's one thing I can read for people. And then, of course, it goes through how the whole system works, your digestion, the nervous system processes food. Also, you know, there's two. The extrinsic and intrinsic nerves control the digestive system. So that is the nervous system. So now if they really are not getting a good clearing with doing just the digestive system, then you may need to look at going into the nervous system next, maybe testing that as well. Like, what is the reading on their nervous system? You could even go so far as to read the extrinsic and intrinsic nerves separately and let them know, hey, this is really a suggested like upsell, if you will, from going straight from the digestive system into the nervous system program afterwards. So then, you know, the mouth chews the food, saliva is produced, and then you've got the enzymes. Food in your stomach comes in contact with the enzymes, hydrochloric acid. The small intestine does most of the digestive work. So this is what, Carrie, you might be looking at here, huh? So yeah, so okay. So this is, yeah, where all the nutrients are, you know, taken from the food and matter that the body doesn't use stays in the small intestine, travels to the large intestine, and then leaves the body as waste. So, but that's not where the bacteria is. Generally, the bacteria is in the colon, right? But the small intestine bacterial overgrowth, that SIBO, do you have that? Oh, maybe that's your deal. Do you think so, Carrie?
I don't know. I get it's kind of like in like patchy areas, sort of, but I don't know really that much about SIBO. Like right now, I kind of even feel it right up under the rib cage, so I don't know, yeah, how to tell if it's more infection related or if it's more just this type of a thing where something's not digesting properly.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So let's put a check on that too, because I'm kind of getting that might be something with the intestine. So, okay, so, and then this is where, yeah, the large intestine, the colon, that's where the large amounts of the bacteria is. The length is anywhere from 25 to 28 feet. And it takes for 4 to 7 hours to pass through the food, or for food to go through the stomach and small intestine. But through the large intestine, then can be 50 hours and can vary between 24 and 72 hours. And how it works, and there's the whole thing, you know, what we're looking at here. And then, you know, the enzymes, how important that is, because we lose them when we cook the food, stomach acid. And why don't we just do right now the hand movement, okay? And you are intending right now to send in healing energy, the gold healing energy into, well, the digestive system, but we've got the colon starts with, let's actually starts with the mouth and ends at the at the anus, which is not a good visual to go with here. But let's see. Yeah, so we're going. Let me stop share on this, and I'll share this clearings instead. So this is what we're doing. So if we want to start using the hand movement and intending that we're sending in healing energy to all these areas, right? So the mouth, salivary glands, throat, esophagus, stomach, large and small intestine. So that's the colon, rectum, and anus. Then there's also the vagus nerve. So you can clear Epstein-Barr from that if need be.
That's not a separate protocol. That's just like you do this now with the gold healing light, or how do you address that?
Yeah, I'm going to put that separately because really these are the areas that we're going to be regenerating.
Yep.
These here, yeah. Now, is there something, proper function of the valve system, and then the digestive enzymes, the nerves, and so forth? Yeah, we can do the clearings around them to include those in what we're intending. But for right now, to actually regenerate, we're regenerating these areas. So starting with that, and then these will be the clearings. So do I have a statement here? I should have a statement. Oh, okay. Right permission and ability to enjoy 100% fully functioning digestive system, mouth, tongue, salivary glands, esophagus, stomach, gallbladder, pancreas, small intestines, colon, rectum, and anus. So I really packed a lot in here. So it just depends on how much you really want to include. You don't have to go with the pancreas, the gallbladder, all of it. Although it plays a part, obviously, in digestion. So yeah, it is part of it. So, and then free of inflammation, autoimmune disorders, infections, non-beneficial bacteria, etc. So that probably should be up here. So also it would be digestive system. We could put vagus nerve, valve system, here. And also digestive enzymes. Yeah, from brain, ability to produce digestive enzymes from brain and pancreas. Okay. There we go. Okay, so then that would be the clearing statement here. And then the things that we would clear for that would be this stuff is an amplification, and other things that you can check for. Obviously, you want to do the DNA, but if you're having problems with if it won't clear, you can check for toxins, like toxins in the meat, because that gets stored in our fat. So mismatch of the meat with your system, preparing it with love, that kind of stuff. Vaccines could be an issue there. Saliva. I have someone who has an issue with their salivary glands. They produce too much saliva, so that, there can be some things. And for him, it was like past life stuff. So you're looking at timelines and whatever, but it could be their energies, partners, complex evil spirit curses, that kind of stuff. Also, there could be time bombs coming from past life programming on the timelines, right? So, like there could be in cycle. So it could be like, it seems like every third lifetime this is occurring for you or something like that. So it's set up now to happen again coming up, right? Those could be time bombs. Unresolved trauma on your timeline at the same time as in a past life incident. That's what I was just saying. It could be every like third lifetime or something. Unresolved challenges requiring a resolution. So here you can see that timeline in front of you, right? So from the beginning an end of your life in this body. And then again, like using that suction or blasting it off to clean off the time bomb programs set to go off. And you could even just say, if there's any programs that are set to go off, this is what I'm intending to clear right now. How, you know, or how many are there, right? You could get a number of them. And then like, okay, there's 2. Okay, let's clear those 2, right? And then have cleared the 2, 100%. Okay, great. So, and then that's the shooting dice. That hand movement for that. And then there's this stuff in perception that we're clearing for. And then this emotional thought forms from the emotional brain. So with a feeling attached to it. Emotional body. That's the etheric part of you. That is the feeling emotional part, follows the shape of your physical body. Of course, it's the aura, right? One of your layers. And the emotional brain. So this includes the amygdala there in the back of the head. So the early emotional program brain. So you want to clear that. A lot of emotions can be, you know, with the digestion, obviously. Sadness and different, you know, emotions can set off either diarrhea maybe, or constipations and so forth. And the thyroid is huge in setting off constipation. That's a big one for the thyroid. So then you want to go into DNA. So clearing the DNA, so the actual genes associated with the issue itself, the actual DNA gene itself, right? Not just programs. We're actually going into the DNA strand. So how we learned it. And you're going to go into each DNA for each of these areas. And then you're going to clear it, clean it, you know, look for breaks, all the things that we had said in the DNA training. And then you can lengthen the telomeres. So at the end of each DNA strand, at the ends, there's the telomeres, and they shorten over time. And so we just, you know, take them and then lengthen them out. Take them, lengthen them out. And you just kind of see it maybe with your hands and just pull it out with your hands and just lengthen it out. And just seeing this beautiful telomere coming into perfect shape and size and length for increased health and longevity. Really, it is for longevity, the telomeres. So you do that. And then the ability to produce digestive enzymes. Okay, so what, you know, I would look for, DNA programs for these. So are there any programs around the ability to produce digestive enzymes from brain and pancreas, or that are blocking your ability, right? Or, you know, to have a optimally functional digestive enzymes. So then you have a number of programs for each. So I would look for these. And then 2, you could read their enzymes, right? So read the nerves, read the valve system, right? So if there's something low, then you may need to add that to your regenerate, you know, you might need to add the valve system to your regeneration list here too. Might need to be something that was really off, or something that you want to do specifically individually. Okay, and then number 2. Okay, that's clear DNA here. Okay, then number 2, clear DNA from transplant or transfusion. Okay, so if they have other DNA of other genes, then you have to do a second set of details, right? So do it again, but for that other DNA. And then you want to go into bloodline and clan. So in in that from the blood influence of family strong bloodlines. In that bloodline from the blood influence of strong family bloodlines. So make an agreement with self to suffer. That could be maybe the family had some kind of in their bloodline that they had to suffer or whatever, right? So that's what we're just clearing the bloodline for anything in there. So just intending that you're clearing the whole bloodline for digestion. And then of course you've got the dark energies. So all this stuff would be what we'd want to look for and clear there. And then we go into the regeneration. So we're going to connect with the master cell of each of the parts here that we're regenerating. And I've got the vagus nerve here, but you know, that's not just for the digestion. The vagus nerve connects to almost everything, right? And I wouldn't include it in digestion because it's going to open up a lot more work to add it there. But, you know, it's up to you. However, maybe the person wanted that full package, right? That could be that could be the ultimate package. We're adding the vagus nerve too or something. So then were you just using the basic hand movement here to stimulate the blueprint and to do the regeneration? We're going to be bringing the master cell up to 100%. Then you light up the cell, making sure everything is set up to go. And then you're going to match that master cell that you've just perfected to all the surrounding cells. So the regular regenerative process. And then of course, you know, you're going to get a number of days for regrowth or new growth, not regrowth, cell growth. All right, and then we can go into colon cleanse. If you're wanting to look at that, you could do smoothies, juices, fiber, water, eating veggies, and so forth. And then you can also do a clearing here, emotions and other blocks to being able to, well, I don't see any emotions on here. I just see emotions. Clearing, I would just say blocks to being able to show up for yourself and enjoy a food cleanse, fast and flush, to be successful and have a good result. So if you are having an issue with staying on a cleanse, these could be the blocks that you want to clear for. So things that people can do lifestyle wise, daily, they could meditate, bring meditation practice into your daily routine, exercising, eating well, drinking water every half hour. Could be 4 ounces every half hour is optimal for the body. And then staying peaceful and calm. So these are things that you could recommend to your clients. You could have a full recommendation checklist that, and I do have a digestion suggestions, you know, taking vitamin D3. Women need 5,000 milligrams a day. Magnesium, take 2 at bedtime. Men only require 1. Or for constipation, here's something that I recommend. Got this from my own expert that I see once a year. And for reflorestation, you can add back good bacteria. This is if you're have had antibiotics. You know, you want to get your flora back into the right, you know, balance. So just my recommendation on what I had learned from her. And so you could add something like that into your recommendations for your clients too. That's all on here. I believe that I sent to you already. Okay, so then here are some issues around digestion. So this was also part of the clearing, I guess, here, huh? So letting go of all the other programs, dark energies, etc. But yeah, so we added in digestive issues, leaky gut, celiacs, IBS, anything else we can think of here. Seizures, diarrhea, constipations on here, lack of nutrition, weight gain, mood disorders. So any of this stuff that's related to the digestive system isn't part of the clearing. Okay. And then here's those questions that we had up on the slide. And then here's a sample client. So if you don't want to chart it all out yourself, here are the, well, it looks like up to here is dark energies, all that stuff. And then here is perception, right? So you've got group mind virus, and then the anchors that they can leave, right? Curses, and then their anchors, black magic, their anchors, trauma. Okay, so this is one that I did for him. I remember this guy. And then here's like DNA faulty programs for digestion, and then reading the family bubble. Is there a DNA program in the family bubble for digestion? Then one, okay, and then clear it. Programs for inflammation, yeah, he's got 5, but the family bubble, they got 1, right? It's programs for nutrient absorption, for elimination, restriction around elimination. That's all good stuff to check for DNA programs. And then it went on. I guess this is more dark energy stuff, isn't it? Yes, it is. Okay, but that was just a sample client that you can see where I had all that stuff I read for him. Okay, so then later in the day, bloating. If you've cleared up fungus and yeast and there's nothing there anymore, and you're still having a lot of later in the day bloating, it's possible that it's spiritual parasites or aliens. So work on it for a week every day. See if that doesn't clear that up.
Would you tell your client to work on it every day, or you as a the healer, would you every day do that for them, or what do you do?
Yeah. So if they're complaining of that and you've done some clearings around it, but maybe you just say, hey, is this parasites, spiritual parasites getting yes? Okay. Just say, look, I'm going to need to do some remote healing on you every day for a week. And then that's going to be part of the package, right? So, yep. You can customize this any way you want. There's all kinds of areas, right? So maybe they're saying, hey, I've got celiacs, which is like gluten, I believe, right? So, I mean, if there's an issue with gluten, hey, yeah, there's the outside thing, don't eat gluten, right? But there's also the inside thing, like why does one person have, gluten allergies, but another person doesn't? So it just can't be across the board. There's got to be something for that individual person. Checking emotions, checking their timeline, right? Past life stuff. Maybe they had a really poor diet in another lifetime and messed up their stomach, right? So those could all be things that to check for. Yeah, so then whatever they're saying, hey, maybe there's weight gain. So this is part of the process or part of a package that you put together for a weight loss program, right? So weight loss, okay, so you've included the digestive system. Now you're going to do the pancreas. Now you're going to add in the hypothalamus, because that's in the brain, the master control around weight or whether you're hungry or not, right? So you want to make sure that's in there. Adrenals, you could have adrenal glands, because if you've done everything else but you haven't done the adrenals and they can't still lose weight, that's probably why. If their adrenals are not optimal, weight loss won't happen the way it should. Also thyroid, then you could include thyroid in the weight loss because that's the metabolism, the slow sluggishness, right? So, so all of these things then could be part of the program for weight loss that you're adding. It just depends on how long they want that package to be, or what their budget is, or how you want to make that look. But there's a lot of other ways to put that in there. And then, lack of nutrients from food, nutrition or malnutrition. So that's another thing that you can add, is you could read things for them. So now in my slides, let's go back to the slides and we'll show other suggestions that you can talk to them about for food suggestions. But I also like to put a recommendation for things that they can eat, or foods they can bring into their diet. Low acid that causes digestive issues. An overgrowth of bacteria in the stomach or yeast, or use antacids. Ages 60 plus, 75% less hydrochloric acid. So vitamin deficiency can result. So how do you beef up your hydrochloric acid? I believe like that celery juice is something you could look at. And again, acid reflux after you eat can be low acid. Yep, acid supplementation. Okay. Betaine HCI supplements increase your stomach acid levels. So that would be, but I also heard that celery juice, you know how they juicing celery. That's a good one. And then you can take enzymes in addition to the HCI supplements to help with enzymes. Enzymes are very good, adding the digestive enzymes to the diet. Absolutely. So same with prebiotics and probiotics. And then, so of course, yeah, the vitamins, minerals. The GI tract starts at the lips and ends at the anus. I gotta change this. It just it doesn't sound right. But the GI tract has more immunological assaults than anywhere else in the body. It produces 70 to 85% of our immune cells. So this is important. So you could obviously, when you're doing an immune system package, you could add in digestion too, just because of that. And it's the mucous membranes is really what we're talking about here. Mucous membrane. Here it says right here, mucus lining against gut infection. What is the colon? It's the body's waste disposal system. And what is this here? Each time we eat, okay, the peristaltic wave is triggered. So sometimes people with the constipation don't get that wave, as often. So that could be something that could be worked on too. Calm colon. An acidic colon is a healthy colon. So you want to have the balance there, right? So high protein vegetables, and so forth. Yeah, constipation goes into that. What determines a compromised colon? Chronic stress. Okay, so then here's a suggestion to do a food journal. So these things, you could take these offline and put these into like a little PDF, like a download. So suggestions, things that they can do themselves. So one of them could be, hey, keep a food journal. Is there a problem with not drinking enough water, eating too much sugar, blah, 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 blah. So that could be part of a little PDF download form as a bonus, or however you want to do it. And then journal how you felt, after you ate. Are you depressed, angry, sad? Were you drinking what? Were you eating while you were driving? That kind of stuff. And then symptoms and severity. And then leaky gut happens when things don't pass through the small intestine, when they do. So an explanation of what that is. Food sensitivities can damage the gut. And the bacteria balancing that out. And the good bugs, the bifidobacterium, and the bad bugs, like given there, salmonella, clostridium, produces toxins. Small intestine generally has low numbers of bacteria because they're found in the colon, right? But when they do invade the upper area, when a large part of digestion takes place, they produce toxins and gases like methane and carbon dioxide that interfere with normal digestion and damage the lining of the small intestine, leading to fibromyalgia, diverticulosis, IBS, celiac, Crohn's, and autoimmune type diseases. So, gut microbiome. Yeah, it's important to keep that balanced. Bacteria have DNA patterns, so that affect different digestive functions. Some digest proteins, some digest sugars. If they're not able to digest nutrients properly, it can lead to anemia, fatigue, and low energy. So many good bacteria break down carbs that provide needed energy, helps repair the intestinal cells and regrowth of new ones. So we have DNA patterns. Without good bacteria, undigested food can stagnate. So we need the good bacteria, the gut microbiome, and the immune system. So it's the good bugs because they have direct communication with the immune system to attack pathogens. So the gut flora and stress. So here is the stress response. An overgrowth of certain bacteria can trigger a stress response and keep it automatically turned on to fight or flight. So along with that adrenal gland and the cortisol and so forth, overgrowth of bacteria can also cause that. More susceptible to antibiotic use. Probiotics repopulate the gut with good bacteria to restore balance. So yeah, like kimchi, yogurt, kombucha. I like kombucha. Good things to add. So correcting your bacterial imbalance. So these are things that you can tell people that they can do also. So everything you put in your mouth, you're either feeding or starving the bacteria in your gut. Either one. It's either beneficial or not. And so then here's part of that elimination diet. You can tell them what to remove and then to journal how they feel, what they eat, 7 signs of an unhealthy gut. You know, the upset stomach, high sugar, weight changes, sleep disturbance, skin irritation, autoimmune type conditions, food intolerances, and then how they can improve their digestive health. So telling them to, and this may be like a repeat of the slide before, so I think I did that, but increasing their fiber, go plant-based, stay hydrated, and then it talks about water, you know, and the importance of it, and what mild dehydration can happen. Cold water takes energy. Your body has to get it to the right body temperature. So you might as well just drink it that way to begin with. Tap water, just say no. Well water can have pollutant runoffs in it. Bottled water, they just have to have the same as tap water to be able to sell it to you. And so they can contain 24,000 chemicals. Filtered water, talks about that. Drinking soda and energy drinks. A lot of sugar leaches the calcium from your bones. Alcohol damages gut health, and the sugar leads to an overgrowth of yeast and bacterial imbalance. And of course, exercise supports the microorganisms in your gut. Yoga, very, very good. It stretches out, you know, you do stretches to the left, stretches to the right, and so forth, and it you know, bends and massages the gut for health. Very good for it. Stool analysis, you can, you know, take one in and see if there's what kind of yeasts are there. There's also a saliva test you could do, measures different cortisols or hormones. Hair analysis measures minerals and toxic metal activity. Neurotransmitter profile. So here, these are affecting digestion, and that comes from the nervous system. So the 6 main ones are these, and serotonin, the feel-good neurotransmitter, is produced in the gut. And so you can do an activation for these to increase or optimize, not necessarily increase, but optimize the levels, whatever they should be for you. So glutathione, anyway, I know our body produces that. Well, it does this too. Yeah, so you can actually, just using the basic hand movement, and then you're going to intend that you are getting all of these up to the optimal levels in balance. And how it affects your mood, your gut health, and your sleep. And so then essential nutrients. So you could do a activation for your body makes the glutathione. Yep, so you got to get them in your diet. So you can do an activation for that. And then, so yeah, here's the whole, great, we can see it. There we go. Okay, here's the whole system. And then you go into the master cell. So you could start with, say, the mouth, right? Mouth and salivary glands. You could do that, and then go to the throat next, and then next go to the esophagus, then next go to the stomach. Or you can intend that you're setting in this beautiful healing energy to all the different areas and to all the different master cells, and then going into each one individually, right? So, okay, so great, I've got 100% now on mouth and salivary glands. Great, I got 100% to the master cell now for the throat. Great. So you could batch them up and do them combination if you would like to too. So yeah, so if you want to do mouth, tongue, salivary glands first, then you could batch that up. Then you could do the esophagus next if you wanted, the stomach next after that. You could do the gallbladder, the pancreas, the small intestine, and then the colon, right? So then you could do each one separately like that. And then you're going to want to go in and check the DNA strand, right? Then, well, I don't think that one is necessary, but so you're already in there. So then lighting up the cell, making sure everything, the master cell is already 100%, and then lighting it up and then matching it to all the cells in that body part. You know, the stomach, for example. You're done with the master cell to 100%, then you're going to light up the cell and then activate the mitochondria, you know, the energy centers, and that kind of just gets that boost of cell growth going. And so then you can match that perfected master stem cell to all the cells of the stomach, for example. And then you're going to check to see how many of the cells are taking the upgrade. If you got over 70% or better, that's great, but generally we can get them up to 100. And then the number of days that your cells will be in regrowth. And then we talk about making sure they are hydrated for the next 3 days, especially, and then improvements that they might notice from a functioning digestion. And all the good stuff. And then to unplug, unwind, you know, journal, meditate, do whatever your recommendations are. So that is the screen for the slides. So yeah, that's essentially what we're looking for here. So let's go back to clearing chart. And so for yeah. So the clearing to begin with, you want to come back here and check. But for example, if they have something that is in addition, like something else, that emotions, for example, you could actually just put down the emotions, list them, right? So that could be definitely one that could certainly play a role in here. I've seen that a lot with digestion. So yeah, not to underplay emotions, because that's huge, 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 huge for digestion. So I can send you the revised version of the clearing chart here that I did too. So yeah, I think that's what I wanted to cover on here. If there's any questions, let me know. But otherwise, a lot of this is similar to the other things that we're doing, but it's also one of those things that it's big for most people. Most people experience some type of issue with digestion at least sometime or another, and many people it's a constant thing. For years they may be experiencing these things and have not had any success in eliminating them. Maybe they're taking antacids for a long time, right? Or antibiotics if they have some kind of bacterial thing going on. So then you're going to want to let them know that they're going to want to do a reflorestation to rebalance that bacteria. And I would say if they haven't done this within the last year, everybody should do this, regardless of if they've taken the antibiotics or not. Just all the stuff, the toxins and so forth. Just getting sure, being sure that you're getting the right bacteria back in there, in the gut, right? So it can process and do what it's supposed to do, and not get balance. So, so a lot of different things that you can suggest from here to go into the next area, right? So we already talked about weight, if that was something that they had an issue with. But then it could also be going into the adrenals, including the thyroid, the pancreas, all the different areas that can be associated with it as well. So that is all I had. If there's any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I think we can stop the recording.